I wanted us to take a look inside of the sting of rejection. When I think of rejection, oftentimes people think of someone that's rejecting them, someone that is pushed them away or isolated them in some way. But I believe that rejection goes far deeper than that. Rejection can pierce the very deep part of the soul, and it's a part of the soul that many people are unwilling to deal with. Oftentimes we pretend like it's non-existent. We pretend like it's not even there. So when I think of rejection, the sting of rejection, it's definitely rooted back to my childhood. In my book, The Sting of Rejection, I go to chapter 1 where I talk about the root of rejection. And if you know anything about roots, roots can develop into, if not hundreds or thousands of roots. But in the sense of rejection, there are so many things that's connected and tied to rejection that can stem back to our childhood. Nothing is planted or blossoms into anything unless a seed is first of all planted. And as many of you know, once you put a seed into the ground, something comes from that. If you put an apple seed in the ground, it'll be an apple tree. If you put a peach seed in the ground, it produces peach tree. You put an orange seed in the ground, you get the message. How is this applicable, or how does this apply to my life as it relates to rejection? Well, the words that were spoken over me as a child was not too kind. I've had words spoken over me that were very derogatory. I was told that I was mentally challenged. I was told that I was a sissy. I was told that I was inadequate. I was told that I was not good enough. I was called stupid. And the list goes on and on. You got to realize that as a young boy, I didn't know what any of those words meant. And even people that were the closest to me would say these things to me. So you can imagine how it made me feel as a child. One thing you must realize is that the words that were spoken over me, they were seeds, which develop into many roots that spring well into my childhood, even more so that I had to question my own identity and ask myself, what do you really believe about yourself? And why do you believe that about yourself? You know why I believe that about myself? It's because it was spoken over me. So sometimes the things that you believe about yourself, you need to reevaluate that and ask yourself, why do I believe these things about me? Is it true? And I've discovered as I went into my adulthood, and it affected a relationship, it affected different connections I had with people and friendships. You know why? Because I did not deal with that rejection that was in my life. I thought I was what they said I was. I didn't know any better. I was a child. I was young. I was exposed. I was vulnerable. And it is so true that when you don't know who you are, you then become open and vulnerable to not only what people say about you, but what they think about you, what they feel about you. And I'm here to tell you that once you discover who you truly are as a person, as the beautiful human being that you are and that I know that I am, anything that anyone says, feels, or think about you is irrelevant. I always tell people this: never accept anything that doesn't match the truth of who you are. Now, let's just face it. We have a lot of people that deal with rejection, low self-esteem, have a very poor image and perception of themselves. So for many people, they're watching this now and they're like, well, what does he mean? Don't accept anything that doesn't match the truth of who you are. Some people may be asking, well, who am I? Well, I'm here to tell you that I had to look in the mirror and I had to destroy every false narrative, every false belief about myself, and those seeds, which I think are word curses that were spoken over my life. I had to go back and look at that and say, I am not the things that they said about me. I am kind. I am inherently good. I am pure of heart. And when you do that, it's almost like layers of negativity and the layers of darkness, isolation. It just starts to just peel off, like peeling off an onion. And the more you peel off, the more liberated that I felt, the more liberated you feel. I'm here to tell you today that there's a difference between feeling these things that I'm talking about and knowing. I can tell you all day that you're beautiful, you're kind, you're unique, you're pure of heart, you're amazing. That may make you feel good temporarily. You feel it. But I want you to graduate beyond feeling these things and actually knowing it. Because knowing it is somehow connected to being confident. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just that you wake up every day and when these things start coming to you, you tell yourself, I don't just feel these things. And it's nice to feel love. It's nice to feel self-acceptance. It's nice to feel all these things. But it's a difference between feeling it and knowing it. So many people have been through rejection, so much rejection so that we have allowed rejection to become a place of identity for us. Some of us have been through so much rejection, we've literally said, this is who I am. I'm going through rejection, so therefore I am rejection. I'm going through periods of isolation and loneliness, divorce, or whatever the case may be. You may say, well, this is who I am. This is what I am. You know why you believe that? Because you have allowed rejection to become a place of identity. It's almost like your home. I'm here to tell you that is not the truth of who you are. You may go through isolation, but you are not isolation. You may go through depression, but you're not depression. You may go through all these things as it's rooted and connected to rejection, but I'm here to tell you that you are not those things. Rejection should never become a place of identity for you. I often thought about something else too. What would it look like for you to accept all of you in the absence of what anybody else ever said about you? This is called self-acceptance. You know, oftentimes we look to people, and as human beings, this is natural, this is normal. We look to other people for love, validation, approval, acceptance. Those are things that I didn't have at one time, and you know the old quote is that you can't give what you don't have. But I was thinking the other day, or perhaps when I was writing this book, The Sting of Rejection, what would it look like to give yourself what you look for in other people? It's easy to sit back and say, I wish they would like me. I wish they would love me. I wish they would accept me. I wish they would embrace me. It's almost like we have a I wish list as it relates to what we want people on the outside to give us. But what a beautiful thing it is to look inside of yourself and tell yourself that the very things that you're looking for in other people, what would it look like? And it's challenging because let's just be realistic. We all go through rejection. We all go through opposition in life. So I'm not being unrealistic here. But just for a second, what would it look like to give yourself what you're looking for in other people? I had to do that. How can I love someone and embrace someone when I don't have it to give? It may feel good to receive it, but it's another thing where you can give yourself what you're looking for in other people. And I'm here to tell you today that you deserve that. You deserve to give yourself what you're looking for in other people. I've also discovered that maybe it's not a matter of why they don't like you, why they're not accepting you, why they don't validate you or approve of you, as it is, do you really like who you are as a person? Do you really love who you are? Have you accepted you? Do you like everything about you? The good, the bad, the ugly? Have you accepted that? And again, I know that that can be a challenge. But I believe that with any challenge, once it's confronted, I do tend to believe that even though it may come with time and progress, things do tend to get better. I think it's important that we live our lives from the inside out instead of living our lives from the outside in, because every day you should be living your life from the inside out. What do I mean by that? People who live their lives from the inside out, they're not validated by what everybody else say about them, or what people feel about them, or what people approval of them or acceptance of them. Because people who live their lives from the inside out, let's just be honest, they just really don't care, because there's nothing you can give them that they do not have themselves. People who live their life from the outside in, those are the ones that's always seeking for acceptance and for approval. And again, as I said earlier, those things are normal and it's okay to do that. All I'm trying to say is give yourself first what you're looking for in other people. I feel like that's very, very important. Rejection will come. And if you haven't experienced rejection, I often tell people to keep on living, because it will come. I'm not here to tell you that rejection will not come. It will come knocking on your door. But when and if rejection does come, you'll know how to deal with it more strategically and more effectively. It's almost like an elephant in the room. It's like when rejection comes, you'll be able to see it, and not only see it, you can sense it, you can smell it. I just know it. And you'll say, I see you. You will not define me. You will not minimize my purpose and my journey in life. I see you in the room. And not only do I see you in the room, I've dealt with you before. I've handled you before. I think it's important that as human beings, as the beautiful people that you are, that you look deep, very deep inside of yourself and ask yourself, is what I'm feeling, what I'm tolerating in my life, what I'm dealing with in my life, does it sting back to rejection? Does it stings back to my childhood? Even as adults, what are words that people are speaking over your life that you know that doesn't make you feel good about yourself? Those are words that needs to be completely eradicated from your life. And when you destroy the image that people have set up and their perception that they've set up for you, when you destroy, and only know this, you only have the power to destroy it. When you destroy the image and perception that people have over you, it's then and only then you'll be able to fly. This is a look inside the sting of rejection. My name is Henry Harris. Thank you for watching.